So, shall we start? Om Sahanao Bhunak Sahaviravahay Jasvahai Om Shanti Om Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagvd Geeta Bhavatveshinim Yam Marutaha Vanti Gayanti Samaga Dhyanavastita Tatnata Pashyam Ginaha Yasna Vidusragana. So let's do 5 verses for the 4th chapter. And we'll finish 4th chapter today. So let's 5 verses. Nahi jnane sadrisham. Jnane sadrisham pavim ihyate tatvayam dhaha tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha kalenatmani vindati Kalenatmani vindati Shraddhavan labhate jnanam Shraddhavan jnanam labdhva param shantim labdhva achirenadhigacchati agyascha shraddhanascha agyasthadhanatma shayatma nayam lokosti na paraha nasukham samshayatmanaha yoga samyastakam yoga samyastakman chinna samshayam chidmatmantanakkan atmadhanajaya tasmat ajnana sambhutam hritstham jnanasinatmanaha chitvainam samshayam yog atishtha bharata atishtha om sati Srimad Bhagvd Geeta Su Upanishadsu Shri Bhagvd Geeta Su Upanishad Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogaha Nama Chaturtho Dhyayaha. Okay. So very quickly, it's revising what we did last week, which is Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparaha samyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shanti gacchati. So there the of Shraddha is is pointed out. Importance of Shraddha. So there's a difference between belief and Shraddha. So belief, Shraddha is that belief cannot be verified. And Shraddha is verifiable by your own understanding. It may not be clear now, so some Shraddha is necessary, but eventually you will be able to verify it. This is Shraddha. This is the basic difference between them, an important difference. So for example, we give this example that if you wanted to understand the very subtlety of some scientific truths, E is equal to mc square, that really matter and energy are interchangeable, or the Heisenberg principle of Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which is an important admission by the scientists. Admission by the scientists. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle is an admission by scientists that the world cannot be definitively known, which is what Vedanta has been saying for a long time. So, in a way, it is an encouraging news that the scientists are to follow the tenets of Vedanta. So this is a very subtle thing that, so what Heisenberg's principle is, that sometimes it appears like this, sometimes it's a wave, it's a particle. We're not sure of it, not tell exactly what we've been saying, that Maya Shakti is such that you can, this is what is called anirvaniya. Anirvachaniya. Anirvachaniya, this is an interesting thing to see. Anirvachaniya doesn't mean that we don't know what it is. That's not what it means. Nirvachaniya means to definitively to define something is called nirvachaniya. Anirvachaniya means something that cannot lend itself to a precise definition. This is different from saying we don't know what it is. So for example, the truth about an ornament of gold is anirvachaniya. That it is not as good as the truth about the gold, but it is there. Even though the truth about the ornaments borrows everything from the gold, the weight of the ornament is from the weight of the gold is also imported. Everything is just borrowed. Has some kind of distance different from a gold, some shape. And so this is what is called aniniya. Aniyatvam of the Maya, it doesn't mean that we don't know what it is all about. It's my new think bhava. Bhava means it cannot be precise to your experiences. That the thing is, you don't need to conquer it. You don't need to, because one which is very precise. Anatma is in the difference between the of the students. So all that people can say is, listen, it is the best the world have this principle. See, it doesn't mean that so Atma, the Shraddha, I don't see the all-ness of my Tattvam as I can see it yet. Here and now, definable and over. you just believe it and verify it. You'll be able to verify it. But perhaps you need to take some steps so that you can be ready to verify. This is because Swami Maheshananji has a list we went through last week on why every step. Why? Because it is highly unlike what is being said. Totally, my experience that I am probably say no, it's not just a dream. That's you untouched by problems. So I need Shraddha to continue. On one hand, my experiencers are saying I've got problems. On the other hand, the Shastra is saying, no, you don't have a problem. Shraddha is required. And then it's so beautiful, all these, it's a very nice list. I think I gave it to you, but I'll just repeat it quickly. Then another point where Shraddha is necessary is, you say, really? Are you serious? You're telling me that I am the very substance of the whole world? Yeah. No, it's unbelievable. So this is Shraddha number one. Okay. Second Shraddha is where it says, prove it to me. Prove it to me. Says it. So that's another thing. And then because, you know, if you look at 99.9999% of our experiences, it has nothing to do with this fact. It's just the opposite fact. And then we say, I'm sorry, can I see it anyplace else? And anybody else says it? Says no. Nobody else says it. You just have to trust us. Shraddha is necessary. Why should I just trust this person? Vedas alone. What is so specialty about Vedas? Why can't everybody else do it? If these Hindus were so clever, how come they're so poor? And all these kinds of thoughts come in. Shraddha is necessary. Then another thing, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita, is that your actions in life are not meant for results in this life. It is to improve your mind. Shraddha is necessary. This is not clear at all. What are you talking about? Everybody else says that actions are necessary for creating results. And you're telling me they're not for creating results. The real one is to improve your own mind. Shraddha, not clear at all. So every step of the way. And then another one, finally. I won't go through the whole list. There's a huge list. Another one is that you will be able to be free while you're alive. You are still in the body, but you will be totally free. Who says it? How can that be possible? This is what happens. Even people, you go to a Mahatma, and the Mahatma is also suffering. He's got some stomach ache and so on and so forth. Then you begin to doubt about the whole thing. Hey, there's something funny going on here. This is all just there, just making a big deal out of it. I see this guy suffering. He's also having diabetes and so on and so forth. How can he be free? He's suffering. No. He appears to be suffering, but he's not. Shraddha is necessary. Every step of the way, Shraddha is necessary. And then Swamiji ends by saying, this is where live teaching is necessary. Why? Because you need the trust and effectiveness of someone that you respect and trust. Without that, this Shraddha becomes liquid. You can continue for a while. You can say, oh, you know, I found something really interesting. This is a great thing. I want to do this. Is there anyone to teach me? And says, no, we don't have anything, but you can read this book. Okay, I'll read this book. You read the book. In the meantime, some news comes in about Trump. You forget about the book. And now you're more interested in what has he said today. That's much more important. And so then you know, so now the biggest thing is, in half an hour, how many lies he can say. So that seems much more interesting than reading these books. No Shraddha, after a while you say, forget it. Nobody else is doing it. I am not sure. There's no. This is where a regular teaching, regular study with a person that you have some respect, some trust for, is very important. So that's the nature of knowledge. Somebody has to communicate that to you. So that is the importance of Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam. That you need Shraddha throughout. Then Paraha Samnam Param Shanti. We went over this in some detail. I'll mention it very quickly. So Tatparaha means that you actually have to focus on this learning. This is what some of Swamiji's, Swami Tattvavedanandaji's students have been saying, that you need really a transformation of your life. Just a casual kind of a knowledge is not important. It doesn't do anything. You have to really commit to yourself. That's what's the meaning of Tatparaha. Then Samyate Indriyaha. Just a quick things on that. So it is a very beautiful concept that Swami Maheshananji gave. He says, you know, you need the cooperation of your sense organs to live a life. You need it. In order to learn, in order to survive, in order to be healthy. In all these cases, the indriyas are necessary. So you to even traverse the journey of life, you need indriyas. But what happens is, you have to win them over. So samyata means one which are under total control. How can it be under control? What's the trick about it? So Swamiji says, what happens is that the samparka, the word samparka is used. Samparka means your cooperation, your touching the indriyas cannot be avoided. Cannot be avoided. But what can be avoided through understanding that my indriyas are untrustworthy, dependent on me, and serving me up to a point, and they have full of problems. If you keep that in mind again and again by understanding the truth about the untrustworthiness, the deceptivity of it, the uncertainty of it, being mixed with dukkha, lot of problem. If you keep that, then you are not attracted by them leading you from one point to the other. You become in charge. You evaluate them all the time. It's kind of like, you know, supposing you have one and you you're very, that person becomes very useful to you as your hire. And, and so on and so forth. Now you're totally dependent on that person. You give up all responsibility and say, you do it. Problems? Problems. You should never forget the fact that you hired someone and let him do the job because you need their support in order to do things. But be aware of who you are and be aware of their defectiveness, their need to help you in certain manner. If you do that, then this is what is called samyatendriyaha. Beautiful explanation, I thought. Just absolutely practical. To otherwise you can just say, win over your organs. Yeah, I can't the sense organs. This is a great advice that keep the proper relationship between who's the dog and who's the, and make sure that they behave and they, and if they don't, then abandon them. If they serve you, wonderful. So the word samyatendriyaha. And he says that if you do this, through this, you become aware of the cost of my satisfaction. Takes a little practice, takes an error, but this is the truth. And ultimately, you have param shantim. Here, Swami Maheswaranji makes a point. He says, the word param, you actually have shantim every night when you have a deep sleep. But it's not param shantim. As soon as you wake up, problems occur. But this one is called param shantim. Whether you are awake or sleeping or dreaming, doesn't matter. You will have a sense of shantim. Achirena digacchati. Okay, let's go to the next verse. So now, a defect needs to look at the word meaning. Yes, samya atma vinashyati. So, agyascha means the ignorant one. Ashdadhana means one that thinks on. Someone who has a doubt and you leave this world right where you started with nothing. It perishes, vinashyati. So this end is not by samshaya atmanaha. So here, the samshaya atma is repeated in the first line also and the second line also. And it is highlighted by our acharyas. It's highlighted by Krishna by repeating it, and it is further highlighted by our acharyas, and so we'll talk about that. In fact, Swami Maheswaranji was saying that a agyaha is better than a samshaya atma. A totally ignorant person is actually in a better state. Totally ignorant person also perishes, no doubt about it. Perishes means you leave the world without really achieving anything. And so just one commentary on that. It's an interesting thing to see. If you look at the concept of death, just look at the concept of death. We have a confused idea of the concept of death. We think we are alive now, and when our body falls, we become dead. This is what we think. This is totally untrue. What it is we are dying every second. Continuously dying. And the end of this life where the body falls is simply a pause before we continue to continuously die. This is the truth. Why? Because to not see that I am immortal, even now, even why I consider myself to be mortal, I am immortal, is the real death. This is the real death. So, my not understanding, my not embracing, my not committing myself to this fact is the real death. And all that happens when my body falls is to give me another opportunity to continue with my foolish state again in the next life. So from that perspective, the agyaha, the one who is totally ignorant, also vinashyati. So vinashyati means that nothing is gained. It's just wasted. Agyaha. But worse than that is shayat. Why does it say that? Because if you have a person who is totally ignorant of this fact, but you get introduced to it, you have a chance of really opening your eyes. Like a child. You cannot blame a child, not understanding all this. He's not capable. So let him continue on. Even adults that are not capable of understanding, that's fine. That's okay. But you become king when their eyes open. Compared to that is the young mind. By the way, Chaya Atma here refers to a doubt. So the word Atma can also refer to a mind, not just to the. So here means a doubt. The doubting man who never knows to do it. Why? Because even after you get introduced to it, you reject it because of your. Not so sure. This doesn't. It sounds good, but. So this, you end every sentence with a but. And so our acharyas say, and Krishna also says, samshaya atma, the one shraddha really. And we sympathize because the chances of your being attacked by not having shraddha are many. As we went through the list, that how can this be the truth? This doesn't appear to. If you're doing it, how come everybody else is not doing it? All those kinds of things create samshaya atma. So samshaya atma vinashyati is simply when you lack shraddha. And why it is specially censurable is because you have already examined the truth and rejected it. If you never examine the truth, then it'll be okay. So this is why I say ajñas are better than samshaya atma. He says, please, set aside your doubts and continue with it for your own good. So that's the meaning of this word, ajñascha ashraddadhanascha. One who never knows it, or has no faith whatsoever, or the one that has doubts about this thing, nashyati. Na ayam lokaha asti, na paraha, na sukham, na samshayatmanaha. There is no sukham, there is no, you don't reach the goal that you set out for yourself, and you just waste your time. Vinashyati. That's all. Then, in verse number 41, the summary of the 4th chapter is now given. And so here, look at 41, 42. Yoga samyasya tat, yoga samyastaka, just a second, let me see. So, hey Dhananjaya, let's look at the word meanings that Swami Paramarthananda had given. Dhananjaya, ho Arjuna, karmani na nibadhnanti. Actions do not bind. Yoga samyasta karmanam, one who has renounced all actions through knowledge. Jnana sanchinna samshayam, and who has destroyed all doubts by knowledge. Atmavantam, one who is mindful. So the English translation of that is, hey Arjuna, actions do not mind one who has renounced all actions through knowledge, who has destroyed all doubts by knowledge, and one who is mindful, who's careful, who's awareful. That's the meaning. So this is the summary of the 4th chapter. But you need up to the point where your own self-experience becomes your own guide. That this is, something is really there. And your Paramatma Jnanam becomes apparent to you. Paramatma Jnanam, but I just want to give you the overview of it. By the way, one other thing in the discussion of Samshaya Atma, the last few verses and so on, Swami Maheshwaranji gave a beautiful example. He says, supposing there is a blind person who cannot see. What the blind person needs is a sense of trust for another person to make sure that you know where you want to go. Beautiful point. In other words, a blind person, imagine a blind person needs help. And he needs help from someone who is not blind. If you don't have that trust, you say, where is he taking me? I don't know where he's taking me. Then don't even get up. Because you yourself are incapable of going, of running into a wall, of falling down the stairs, because you can't see. So the least you should do is to find someone who can see and trust that person. Beautiful point. So if you have neither of them, so in terms of the final commentary on Samshaya Atma, you see, this is what happens. You say that I don't know what is going on, what is the truth, what is God, how I can achieve total happiness in this life, what the goal of, I don't know any of that. But I am not sure anybody can help me. How do they know? This is the samshayatma. This is exactly like a blind person saying, I know I cannot see, but I can't find anybody who can really help me. Okay, then I don't know what to say. So there, you have to depend on someone who says, listen, this is the way, trust me, hold my hand, and let's travel together. So this is and so that Shraddha is necessary. So in the case of the blind person, you may never be able to get to where you want to go. But in the case of the human being, where you are looking at yourself as the goal, you don't need to go anywhere. You just wake up in place. Perhaps we'll do some meditation today. I think we'll have some time. That's why I just thought that. But I'm going to just finish doing this. So the summary of the 4th chapter is that one who has renounced all actions through knowledge. Let's understand the meaning of that. Yoga samyasta karmanam. What it means is you abandon the false notion that I am not complete, but I need to do some things in order to get better. This is what is called apraptasya praptihi, the one that you don't have. In other words, I need to acquire some things in order to feel better about myself. I got to change some things. So in doing that, karma is the primary objective. This is what we all do. If you look at around everyone, you find that they are busy doing things, acquiring. And the belief is, this basic objective is that by doing, you get better and better and better, and you will achieve something. You have to puncture this, that I am not getting anywhere. I am not likely to get anywhere. What I need to do is to understand that I am okay the way I am. And I may need to do some things in order to understand this fact. That is for sure, like study and attend classes and so on and so forth. But karma as a main means of achieving things is not something that is going to do. So that's the meaning of this word, yoga samyasta karmanam. One who has renounced all actions through knowledge. So here, I think this is one of the things we should always keep in mind. The problem is not apraptasya praptihi, but praptasya praptihi. An acquisition of something which is already acquired. And it may be some secondary karma is necessary for me to verify that this is praptasya praptihi. That may be true. But it is not primarily karma which is good for apraptasya praptihi, for the acquisition of something which is not there. So that is really what is meant by yoga samyasta karmanam. And jnana sanchinna samshayam, who has removed all doubts about it by understanding slowly, one at a time, by understanding. And if you do that, you are no longer bound by the actions. Karmani na nibadhnanti. I was giving the same example in the earlier class, so let me repeat that. I think one of the Swamis has pointed out, I forget who that was, really a beautiful thing. He says, and if you look at this, we give permission to our indriyas and other things, body, the mind, and so on, to bind me. We give permission to bind me. I gave that example in the previous class also. It's just dramatizing it by saying that you go to someone and say, please put handcuffs on me. And once the handcuffs are put down and he says, I can't move, remove this from me. So the other person says, you are the one who asked for it. Oh, I didn't know, exactly the same situation is. We give permission to our body-mind complex. We give permission. Unwittingly we give permission, but we give permission to bind me. And then we complain about it, that I'm being bound. This is the situation, really. And I need to just understand that I am by nature unbound. By nature, by swarupa, like the akasha can never be bound by pollution. It's a different level of reality altogether. So that's what is meant by, Hey Arjuna, actions do not bind. Yoga samyasta karmanam, jnana sanchana samshayam, atmavantam. See if there's something else that I'm missing. Yeah, one very interesting point. So, so here what is point Swami Maheshanji point 6, he says, there really are two parallel things involved here. One is the performance of karma, and the other one is the pursuit of knowledge. So anushtanam of jnanam and anushtanam of karma. Anushtanam means a orderly progression of progress in both of these spheres, karma and jnanam. Both have to be traversed in a very intelligent manner. So really the whole life is not just an accident. It has been very, very carefully designed by Ishvara. How? So karma, as we were mentioning, my sense of doing things needs to be done from the standpoint of improving my mind. Antakarana Shuddhi. This is called karma anushtanam. The whole thing is completely changed. We think that our actions are as, so again, going back to the same example, if I look upon my objectives in life as apraptasya praptihi, something which is not already acquired, then my actions are appropriate to that objective. I need to do things, I need to improve myself, and so on and so forth. And to a certain extent, it's okay, but not primarily. But if I understand that my sense of adequacy, my sense of sukha is praptasya praptihi, then the actions that I do are consistent with that objective. So the anushtanam of karma is with respect to praptasya praptihi, natu apraptasya praptihi. This is the main thing. And then those two go side by side. While I change my attitude towards doing things in such a way that they are not meant for my immediate pleasure, but to understand the adequacy of myself as I am, then the jnana anushtanam and karma anushtanam work together hand in hand. Beautiful, good advice, excellent advice.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The last part is this verse, Bhagvd, and who is mindful. The mindful here is referring to our sense organs.
Yes, mindfulness. No, what it means is your relationship with the sense organs. Mindfulness means, again, that it is kind of like saying who is the boss.
So it's primarily talking about your mind and how it reacts to your desires and sense organs.
Well, no, I would even go beyond that, is to see that you have, so our that we are.
Okay.
See, there's.
See the external world.
No. So the equipment that we are given is both the body, the manaha, and buddhi. So that is another scope of what. So here the buddhi is the one. So the mindfulness here means that make the buddhi as the primary objective of how you live your life. And so mindfulness there would be means that the buddhi is the one that is running the show. As we saw in the chariot example also. So in the chariot example, the one who is wielding all horses is the important one. So mindfulness means be careful about where you're going. That's what it's meant for. Okay, I think we're done with this. So here, just to finish this, samyasta karmanam jnana sanchina samyam means that a pure karna means it is capable of understanding the subtlety of yourself as a person, as a atma. So this is where karma is an important tool to, and if then attend classes, Shravadidhyasanam becomes very effective. This is the summary of the 4th chapter. So now we can go to the last verse, and then I think after that we will do a little meditation. So in verse sambhutam hritstham jnani jnana si atmanah chit enam samyam yogam atishtha uttishta. So he Bharata, O Arjuna, tasmat, therefore asi means a sword. So with the sword of knowledge, chitva destroy enam samshayam, this doubt of yourself, hritstham, which is in your mind, agya born out of ignorance, Tishtha Yogam, and take Karma Yoga. So Arjuna, with the sword of knowledge, destroy this doubt of yours which is in your own mind, which is born out of ignorance. Get up to take the Karma Yoga. See the last verse of it. So here he says what the sword of knowledge means. If you look at this is when you say the sword, cut these teeth into two parts with the sword of knowledge. What it means is the following. Drashta means the seer, and drishya, what is seen, are mixed up together. With the sword of knowledge, cut them apart. Be very clear about the drashya and the drishya. Don't get them mixed together. The non-mixing up is the cutting with the sword. So for instance, the qualities of what is seen cannot be imposed on the drashta. And so by separating, you are able to cut between them. Ranji used to say this, that you are seeing people in front of you doesn't cause a problem. That you are seeing something also doesn't cause a problem. What causes a problem is the doubt that I am seeing my body, which is also Chetana Vastu. What it means is this: you have to cut through the sword of knowledge a false notion that my body-mind complex is a drashta. In fact, it is drishya, just like everything else. The dharma of drishya should not be superimposed upon a drashta. And this knowledge. So this is the end of. So let's do a meditation to give a slight sense of, not to complete one. I think we'll, since we have, we'll just see a couple of aspects. नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यंबकाय त्रिपुरांतकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकंठाय मृत्युंजयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। In meditation, may I see the distinction between myself the seer and other things that are superimposed on myself as seen things. I find that the qualities of seeing things or seen things, S-E-E-N things, are different. For instance, I am aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of the sounds that I hear. In all cases of things that I'm aware of, they were not there at one time. They are there for a while, and they have an end. I can see sounds come, staying around, and disappearing. This is not true of myself as a conscious entity. Always the self conscious entity. Does not have a beginning. And has no end. It is fundamentally different from things that are seen. Another fact to distinguish between that are seen. The I see that to recognize them actually, the thing me should send to verse. Another distinction between things that are seen and myself is their existence. They have a beginning and an end, as we saw earlier. They are identity. Particularly, does anything to exist. Things that are seen, requirement seen, me alive. In turn, which is also seen, there's an infrastructure. All the 5 elements: food, preservation, and so on. But by seeing the principles of distinction, that the quality of drishya do to drik, I am able to cut this fused non-distinction between them. This is the message of the chapter of the Gita. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So what we will do next week, as we have been doing, hopefully just in one class, or perhaps maybe one or two, we'll quickly revise the verses of the 4th chapter. So you get a good overview of how it began, what are some of the principles of it, and ended with what we did. And so that summary of the 4th chapter we will do next week, and then we'll begin the 5th chapter. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudacya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vash. Om Shanti Hari Om Gurubhyo Hari Om. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question. It's a relatively simple one. It doesn't have, well, last year you gave out the calendars, or should we do calendar?
Right.
For, like, somehow it didn't seem respectful just to throw it away, but I tried to have.
It's okay. Yeah, I don't, I mean, yeah, I don't see any problems. Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, Raji?
This question, like, there is this Drishya Viveka.
Correct.
You explained and you meditated.
Right.
And there is also this aspect, practically, when with the people,
Yeah.
when I am carrying it with science, there is a lower.
Yeah, well, that's not sure. It's just interesting that has similarity to it. You know, just the fact, for example, that one of us is talking and the other one is hearing is all within the same consciousness. So the conscious hear and conscious talk, and it can be reversed. And so those relationships may change, but the consciousness which is necessary for us to have a common denominator for communicating should be appreciated. So really what it just means is for work reasons, you may need to keep that distinction between the boss, worker, all those things. But from the same true the consciousness of the worker who works for the boss is the same. So what that means is that you try to resort to the. You know, it was interesting that, for example, supposing we're sitting here and all of a sudden there's a big earthquake like it happened a couple of days ago, huge one, you know, and supposing you have some dogs sitting here. So the distinction between human beings and dogs is forgotten. So because the dog is also in danger, or there is a fire, and the human being is also in danger, so everybody needs to come out. So there the distinction between the human being and the dogs disappears because there's a common element towards it. So similarly here also the drik and the drishya can be either done at a human being's own level or the entire world. So the entire world has the same drik. There's only one drik, which is Ishvara. But the drishyas are all different relationship and so on. So something like that. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Understand what is meant by practice.
So what this is an important thing for us to see. So he means the whole, and aprapta he means looking at that as that I don't have, and I need to reach that goal. So this is called apraptasya prapti. A praptasya where the goal is within me, recognized. So for example, when you have a pair of glasses in your own pocket, so that would be praptasya prapti. But if the glasses are somewhere else that you left, then it is apraptasya prapti. I gave an example one time. To me, became very useful. Um, this is about a year or so ago. I couldn't find my credit card, and and whenever you cannot find your credit card, it's the source of worry, you know. And so imagine that supposing you had gone to some places like a restaurant or something and you had kept it there, somehow you lost it. Now the level of worry about losing it someplace else is great. It so happens that I remembered making a purchase online that evening, where I had to go to my wallet to get my credit card, and I had to give the credit card number, and I put it on my desk somewhere, and I had some other things on top of it. As soon as I realized that, my worry went down. This is what is called praptasya praptihi. So that means it's in this room somewhere. It's not. So the praptasya praptihi has some karma associated with it, and apraptasya prapti also has some karma associated with it. In apraptasya prapti, if I have lost it, my karma is enormously different, because now I have to make a list of all the places I visited. I have to call them up on the phone. Most of the time they don't answer. I have to probably drive there, and okay, imagine all of that. In praptasya praptihi, yes, there is some karma involved because I don't see it. But the moment I realized that, and this is actually a real case, I remember this, that in the morning when I was going out, I found that my credit card is not in my wallet. Then I said, last night I made a purchase, it must be on my desk. And sure enough, when I changed some things, and it was lying there. So the karma for a praptasya prapti is fundamentally different. Yes, some karma is involved because I had to move some papers to look at it, but it has no worry whatsoever. So therefore also, my attitude in life should be that the Atma is praptasya prapti, not to apraptasya. It's not something which is different from me. I already have it, but I'm confused about it. So the karma to remove that confusion is fundamentally different. It is really not the same level of karma at all. But the average human being thinks it is not with me. And so we worry about it and we do all kinds of things and so on. So that's the meaning of it. All right, so we'll see you next week.